Dear students, now we study about modern algebra. Now we introduce some basic and familiar notations which are very essential for our study. Now we first define what is a set. A set is a collection of objects which undergo certain rules, whether an element belongs to A or not. Okay. Now here, for example, you take a collection A. A is a collection of elements. It is a rule that as if I say small a belongs to capital A or small a is not an element in capital A. The next one is we are going to see the connection of two sets. What way you can connect two sets? One is union and the other one is intersection. We are going to define how union as well as intersection is defined. A union B is defined like this. A union B equals set of all x such that x is in A or x is in B. And the intersection is defined like this. A intersection B is equal to set of all x such that x is in A and x is in B. Next we define what is a subset. You take a set A, that is a set A is called a subset of capital S, and the notation is contained. Subset of S if every element of A is an element of S. Now we will see some properties connecting union as well as intersection. Now A, first one, commutative property. A union B equals B union A. And regarding intersection, A intersection B equals B intersection A. Commutative property. Next one is associative. A union B union C equals A union B union C. Similarly, for intersection, A intersection B intersection C equals A intersection B intersection C. It is associative property. The next one is distributive. A union B intersection C equals A intersection C union B intersection C. And similarly, A intersection B union C equals A union C intersection B union C. The next one is we define what is complement of a set. Given an universal set, A complement is defined by set of all x such that x is not in A. Complement of a set. With the help of complement, we are having a De Morgan's law, that is A union B whole complement equals A complement intersection B complement. Similarly, A intersection B whole complement is equal to A complement union B complement. It is known as De Morgan's law. De Morgan's law. Now let us next define what is a mapping or function or transformation. A mapping is a rule which satisfies certain properties. Let S and T be two sets, and a function f is a rule which associates from S to T, defined as for any small s and capital S, there exists a unique element T in capital T such that f of S is equal to T. F of S equal to T. Now we define when this function is 1, 1, or the other name for that is injective mapping. A mapping phi from S to T is said to be a 1, 1 function or injective function if for every S1 comma S2 in S, phi of S1 equals S2 or phi of S1 not equal phi of S2 implies S1 not equal to S2. Next, onto or surjective mapping. If phi is a mapping from S to T, then for each element in S, there exists a unique image in T. So that is called as an onto or surjective. A mapping which is both 1, 1 as well as onto is called as bijection mapping or 1-to-1 correspondence. A binary operation is a rule which associates for every ordered pair of elements A comma B, an element C in S is defined as it is a function from S comma S to S, S comma S to S. Next, we enter into our topic, main topic, that is abstract algebra. The first unit deals with group theory. This is the base and fundamental for building the abstract algebra. Here we define what is a group first. You start with a non-empty collection. G, let G be a non-empty collection of elements. You take a binary operation. Take a binary operation dot. This is multiplication. Then this G together with this binary operation dot is said to form a group. G comma dot is said to form a group if the conditions, the axioms here are, the first one is closure property. for a pair of elements A comma B in G, A dot B is in G. Second, associative property. Associative property, that is for A comma B comma C in G, A dot B dot C equals A dot B dot C. Third one, existence of identity. Existence of identity. For any element A in G, there exists an element E in G such that the condition is A dot E equals E dot A equals A. The last one is existence of inverse. The existence of inverse. For all non-zero elements, in G, there exists an element, there exists A inverse in G such that A dot A inverse equals A inverse dot A equals E. If G together with binary operation dot satisfies all the four axioms, then you call it as an group. Next we will see what is a semi-group. Semi-group. A non-empty set G together with binary operation dot is said to form a semi-group if it is closed and associative. And the last definition here is abelian group. Abelian group. A group G comma dot is said to be an abelian group if it satisfies the commutative property. For a pair of elements A, that is, for a pair of elements A comma B in G, A dot B is equal to B dot A. These are the important definitions in groups, and there are certain theorems also which will be discussed in the classroom. Next chapter we deals with subgroup. We define a subgroup now. Let G be a group. You take a non-empty subset S, subset of G, then S is called a subgroup of G if S itself forms a group under the same binary operation that G contains. That is the definition of a subgroup. Now, it is a tedious work for verifying all the 4 axioms. So, we are having an equivalent statement theorem. The equivalent statement theorem is a non-empty subset H of G is a subgroup of G if and only if it has to satisfy 2 conditions. The first one is for a pair of elements A comma B in H, A dot B lies in H. The second one is for any element A in H, A inverse belongs to H. Here, the first condition represents the closure axiom and the second one involves about inverse. Hereafter, for proving any subset to be a subgroup of G, it is enough to verify these 2 axioms. So, they are all equivalent statement and it is very useful for us for proving theorems. The next one is, suppose you are given 2 subgroups, say for example H and K, or 2 subgroups of G, they are subgroups of G, then first one H intersection K is always a subgroup of G, and the second one is H union K need not be a subgroup of G, And a famous important theorem in subgroup is Lagrange's theorem. Before stating the Lagrange's theorem, you should know what is the order of an element as well as order of a group. The first one is order of a group. The number of elements of a group is called as order of a group. And the next one is order of an element in a group. Order of an element in G, in a group G. Let G be a group. Let A be an element in G. Then order of A is defined as there exists a least positive integer n, say, such that A power n is equal to identity. Now we define what is the statement of Lagrange's theorem. Lagrange's theorem. Let G be a finite group, H be the subgroup of G, order of H and order of G respectively. then order of H is a divisor of order of G. This is a very important theorem. Next, we define what is a normal subgroup of a group G. Normal subgroup. Let G be a group N be a subgroup of G. Then N is said to be a normal subgroup of G normal subgroup of G if for any G in G, N chosen from capital N, Gn G inverse belongs to capital N. Then you say the subgroup N is called as a normal subgroup of G, and this property is called as normality condition. The same definition can be defined for the entire subgroup also. That is how we are going to define them. G is a group and N is a subgroup of G. Then N is said to be a normal subgroup of G if G capital N G inverse, this is nothing but collection of elements G N, small n G inverse, which is always contained in N. Then you say N is a normal subgroup of G. Here we are having an equivalent statement theorem. Now we will see an equivalent statement theorem in normal subgroup. A subgroup equivalent statement. A subgroup N of G is a normal subgroup of G if and only if Gn G inverse equal to N. This is the first statement. The second statement is a subgroup N of G is a normal subgroup of G if and only if Gn equal to Ng. This is known as Gn is called as a left coset of a left coset and Ng is a right coset. The same statement can be put in the other form also. A subgroup N of G is a normal subgroup of G if and only if every left coset is equal to right coset. And the third statement is a subgroup N of G is a normal subgroup of G if and only if Ng dot Ng1 equals Ng(G)(G1). Again, the last statement can be put in the other form. A subgroup N of G is a normal subgroup of G if and only if the product of two right coset is again a right coset. The next we proceed for quotient group. Quotient group. Let G be a group N be a normal subgroup of G, normal subgroup of G, then the collection G by N equals set of all Nx such that X varies over G together with binary operation dot, this is coset multiplication. Coset multiplication. If G by N comma dot forms a group, such a group is called quotient group. Okay, students, we recollect the things what we have done so far. We have seen the definition of groups and some important theorems regarding groups, and we have studied about the subgroups and some important theorems, and very famous important theorem in subgroup all is Lagrange's theorem. Then we have seen the normal subgroups, some important theorems in normal subgroup also. Finally, we have concluded the quotient group, and thank you very much.